Hey, what's up, guys? This is Richard again for another edition of Learning with Rich. Okay, so in this topic, let's talk about the editing elements that we are using in Revit. So I'm talking with those people who is just starting using Revit. So you guys definitely needs to know this lesson. Okay, so we're going to talk about the modify panel here. You can find it on the modify tab, modify panel, and then you can see these tools here. So these are actually the tools that we use to edit our elements. So we use these tools to modify and manipulate elements in the drawing area to achieve the desired design for the building model. So many of these tools are available, like what I've said, here on our modify panel. Okay, so these are the tools that we will be using. So if you are using an AutoCAD, okay, so chances are you're already familiar with these commands here. Okay, so let's go ahead and start. So we will be using these tools in our 2D elements. So I'm just going to use the 2D elements to use these tools here. But of course, you can use these tools definitely in 3D model. Okay, so just to make our modeling simple, so we are just going to use here our 2D model. Okay. All right. So I'll go ahead and what's the first? Uh, okay. So the first one is align. Okay. So it aligns one or more elements with the selected element. Okay. As you can see, there's a short animation for you to be able to have an idea on how to use align. All right. So let's use the align tool. Okay. So to do that, so I'm gonna go ahead and let's say I'm going to use my detail line here. Okay, so let's say I'm going to create, all right, so I'm just going to create a line here. Again, take note, you can do this also in your 3D model. So I'm just doing it on my 2D model, okay? So this is my line. So let's say I'm going to create this model. Okay, so let's say, for example, let me just drag this here. Okay, so if you want to align this to this line here, okay, so that's the use of align. So there's the align tool. So you just need to select this. Okay, and then after that, if you're going to look here, okay, it says, please select line or point reference for alignment. Okay, so that's the first thing that you need to do for align. So this is my reference. So you just need to select that. And then after that, you need to select the side that you want to align. So I'm going to select this one. There you go. So it's now aligned. So notice that your detail line here just simple stretch and align to that line. Okay. So if you want the square or rectangle that you have created to be fixed, so you need to fix the size of that rectangle. So to do that, I'll just select undo here. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to group these lines to make it as a single model. So how to group? So you just need to select the elements that you want to group. Okay. And then after that, from the create panel, you can see this tool here. Okay. Group, create group. So you just need to select that and then you just name it. Then after that, select OK. And then after that, you can select here modify. Okay. So that's it. So it's now group, right? So if you are now going to align that, so select align, select, and then this one. There you go. Okay, you also have an option here to lock your aligned object to your reference line here. So meaning to say if you're going to lock it, if you try to move this line away, so your aligned element will follow as well. Okay, so that is what will happen. So I'm not going to align it. So just to show you, I'm going to select here modify. Okay, you see if I drag this, you notice it's not following, right? But this time, I'm going to select again the align. Again, you select first the reference. And then after that, the side that you want to align, you click. This time, I'm going to padlock it. You click that. You select modify. And then after that, you can try to drag that. You will notice this one will follow. Okay, because this is now constrained to your line here. Okay, right? You see? Right. Okay, there you go. So again, these tools you can use definitely in 3D model. So I'm just trying to use that in 2D model, okay? But definitely, of course, you can use that in 3D model, all right? Now, the next tool that we have here is, what's this? Offset. Okay, offset. It's like offset in AutoCAD. It copies or moves a selected element such as a line, wall, or beam a specified distance perpendicular to its length. Okay, so let's say I want to offset this wall. For example, this is your wall. So I'm going to go ahead and select this. You have a two option here. It's either graphical or numerical. So I just normally use, or most of the time I use numerical. You just need to specify here the offset. So let's say this is 500. Just make sure copy is checked here. Otherwise, if you're going to uncheck this, what will happen is this line here will just move to the right side. Okay. Okay. All right. Just make sure you check this one. You see, and then you, as you move your pointer to the side of the element that you want to offset, as you can see, you'll be able to see the preview. Okay, with which the copy of your line will be placed into. So I'm going to click, for example, to the right side. Click, click, click. Okay, click, click. Right. Okay. So it's a basic tool that we need to understand in Revit. Okay, so I'm talking about to those people who just starting using Revit. Okay, of course I'm not talking about to those who are already well versed in Revit. Okay, so that's your offset. Okay, so I'm gonna select modify. So this one is mirror. Okay, so mirror peak axis. It reverses the position of selected elements using an existing line or edge as a mirror axis. So again, I'll just create a line here. All right, so I create this. I create this one. Okay, so let me just adjust this. All right. Okay, as you can see, there is an excess here, excess line. So what you can do is, again, from the modify, so there's an option here, trim extend to corner. So you just need to select the two sides that you want to remain. So I want to delete this. So I'm going to select the two sides that I want to remain. I want to remain this line and then this line. There you go. Okay. All right. So let me just continue creating my line. So from here. All right. So chain. Okay. Now, so if I want this to be mirrored to the other side, so that's the use of this tool that we have here. Mirror peak axis. So what you can do, select the object that you want to mirror, and then you select mirror peak axis. You can click that, and then you click this is this line as your mirror axis. You click, there you go. Or another option is you can create your peak axis or your axis. So let's say this is your axis. Okay, modify. So I can select this, and then I'm going to select this one, mirror peak axis, and then I'm going to pick this as my axis. There you go. Right? Okay, the next tool is mirror draw axis. Okay, so it's like the mirror in AutoCAD wherein you just need to pick 2 points to mirror your object. So let's say, for example, I'm going to go ahead and select this. And then I'm going to use this mirror draw axis. You just need to pick 2 points. So let's say from here, 1, 2. Okay, so it will be mirrored to the other side, right? Okay, so that's the use of that one. Okay, this one, split elements. So if you, this is something like break in AutoCAD, right? So as you can see, they are using the split element in our wall. Okay, anyway, I'll just do it here on my line. All right, so let's say I want to split this. So I'm going to go ahead and select split element. You click this, and then you actually have an option here. From the options bar, you have one option, delete inner segment. So if this is unchecked, so if I pick here, it's now break. Okay, so if I pick here, so it's now break. So if I select here, modify, you see, it's now separated, right? Okay, so you click this. Now, if I'm gonna check the delete inner segment, so that is actually what will happen. If you pick 2 points, it will delete the inner segment. So check this out. I'm gonna pick this one, then I'm gonna pick here 2. So it's now deleted. You see the inner segment is deleted. Why? Because this is checked, right? See, 1, 2, right? Okay, pretty useful. Okay, this one, we use this to uh, create a gap on our wall. So it's split with gap. So it splits a wall into two separate walls with a defined gap between them. Right, so I'm gonna go ahead and create a wall here. Okay, 1, 2, modify, and then go to modify. Right, so I pick this one. So I just need to specify here the gap. Let's say the gap is 200. Then you just need to pick. There you go. So there's the gap of 200. Select modify. So if I pick this one and then I try to drag this, the other side will follow as well. Okay, so they are fixed with the 200 distance. Okay, all right. Okay, so that's your split with gap. All right, the other one here is unpin. Of course, you need to pin first an object. So let's say you do not want to move this object. Okay, usually we use this if we have a link model. We link our architectural model in our MEP model, and then you don't want to move your link accidentally or unknowingly. So usually what we do is we pin that object. Okay, so I select the object that I want to pin, and then I click this pin. There you go. So you will not be able to move that. Okay. Okay, even delete, you will not be able to delete that particular object. As you can see, pin objects were not deleted. So to delete them, unpin them before using delete. All right, so you'll not be able to delete that. Now to unpin, just select that and then select this icon here, or you can select this tool here. All right, there you go. Okay. This one is delete. So select and then you can click that to delete. Or you can simply delete from the keyboard. You can press the delete button on your keyboard. Okay. All right. What else? This one. What's this? Scale. Okay. Scale is pretty useful when we are creating our 2D elements or family, 2D family or text. So we can scale that. All right, in the family editor. So you can use that to scale your images, drawing, DXF, all right? Anyway, so let me just go ahead and create another object, rectangle. Okay, right, so I'm gonna go ahead and select this. Okay, so let's try to scale that. So resizes the selected element, so you just need to pick that. Okay, so you have an option here if you want to make it graphical or numerical. So let me use graphical. So I'm gonna pick this as my base point, 1, and then I'm gonna pick here for my second point, 2, and then after that, you will now be able to move that. If you want, you can snap here. There you go. Okay, again, select, scale, graphical. So I'm gonna pick the base point here, and I'm going to pick another point here. And then let's say I'm going to resize. I'm going to place it here. There you go. Now, if you want to use the other option, select scale, which is numerical. So let's say you want to make it twice as big. You can type 2 and then you can pick the base point. There you go. Okay. Again, select, you click scale, numerical, specify the scale, let's say 5, meaning 5 times, and then you click. There you go. Okay. All right. Next. What else? All right. This one is array. Okay. Array. So this is my object here. I place it here. Okay. So I want to duplicate this. Aside from copy, you can also use array to duplicate your object. Okay. Let me just ungroup this one. So you click this. Remember, we grouped this a while ago. So if you want to ungroup elements or set of families, you just need to select the object and then there's an option here to ungroup it. Okay. Anyway, grouping is not advisable in doing your project. So you only do this if you really need, okay, if the situation calls for it. But, okay, I would not advise you to use group, okay, in your project because it affects the performance of your Revit model. Okay, so sometimes it really slows, especially if you have a lot of groups. Anyway, so I want to duplicate this. This time, I'm going to use the array tool. So I'm going to select this. Okay, just okay, that one. All right. So we have linear here and then the other one is radial. So I just use the linear first. And then you have an option here if you want to group and associate automatically after you array the object. So I just check that one. So let's say total number is 5. Okay. Move to second option. So meaning to say that is the distance of your first object to the second object. When you say move to second. So I pick this. Okay, so if you say move to second, if you specify, let's say the distance is 2000, so what will happen? The first object and then the second object, the distance will becomes 2000, and then the remaining objects will be having the same distance, which is 2000. Okay, so the reference is the first object to the second object. Okay, so I'm gonna pick here. There you go. And since you selected group and associate, notice that your duplicated elements or arrayed elements are group and associate. So you'll be able to change it again manually because they are group and associate. So if let's say, oh, I want 7, so you'll be able to change that to 7. Okay. So the distance of 2000 is from the first object and then to the second object. Okay, and then the subsequent elements, they will be having the same distance, right? Okay, so that is move to second. Now the next option, okay, let me just copy this. Okay, how to use copy? Just select one object, or probably let me just create one. I don't want to ungroup these elements, so I'll just create one. All right. Okay, this one. All right. Okay, let me use the array again. So select array. Okay, this time I'm gonna uncheck this just to show you what's the difference between unchecking this and checking. And then let's say 5. This time I use move to last. So what will happen is this time the reference is your first object and then the last object. Okay, so 5, move to last. So I'm gonna pick this. So let's say, for example, I want the distance of my first object and last object to be 8,000. So I'm gonna type 8,000. There you go. So 8,000. So from here to the last, it's 8,000. And then the remaining elements will be equally divided between the first and last objects. So that is the difference between move to second and move to last. And another thing, we use the option here, group and associate, right? That's why you are able to change it easily. So this is not group and associated. So it's not group. Okay. You see, as if you just copy it manually one by one, right? So that's the difference. Okay. Now we have another option in using our array. So let's say I'll create this one. All right. Okay, so let me use the other option to array our object. So this one, let me just select the object. So let's say I want this object to be arrayed around this circle. Okay. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and select this, use the array tool. This time I use the second option, which is radial. Okay, so radial. Okay. Okay, I'm not going to group and associate. I just want to duplicate this around this circle. And then as you can see, the start ray. So what I'm going to do with the start ray is I'm going to change that. So I'm going to change the center of rotation. So I'm going to select place here. And then after that, I'm going to pick the center. Okay, I want the center of rotation will be placed at the circle. There you go. And then after that, so let's say instead of uh, move to last, let me use move to second. Total number is, let's say, 8. Okay, so 360 degrees, right? One complete revolution. So to do the computation, so it's something like 360 divided by 8. So what is that? So 360 divided by 8. Okay, 45. So 45, I'm gonna pick here. Okay, and then I'm going to type move to second and then 45. There you go. Okay, so let me do again. Oh, sorry. So, okay, I'm going to copy this, select, copy, constrain so that the movement is ortho. You pick, okay, place here. Okay, let me just copy this also. Okay, all right. So let me repeat. So select the object that you want to duplicate. Select array. Change the center of rotation. You click place, and then you pick, for example, here. And then total number, let's say 6. Move to second. Then you can, aside from doing the first method, so you actually have another method here by entering the angle. So you just need to uh, compute. So 360 divided by 6, that is 60. Okay, so you can key in here 60. Okay, enter. There you go. Okay, so that's how you use that array tool. Okay, this one is move. This is very simple. So you want to move an object in Revit. So let's say I want to select all of this object. You can use the move tool. You click that. There's an option here, constraint. So what will happen is your movement will be constrained on a vertical direction or horizontal direction only. So I see I'm not going to disjoin the object. So I'm going to pick any base point, for example, somewhere here. You see, the movement is constrained horizontally and vertically because of the constraint here. So if this is unchecked, you will notice you'll be able to move it at any direction, right? So let's say constraint, and then you want to move it 10,000. So you can move down, and then you can type 10,000, enter. There you go. Right, so that's how you move. Same with copy. Actually, the procedure in moving and copying is the same. So let's say you want to copy these objects here. So I select, you select copy, Okay, constrain. Okay, there's an option here, multiple. If you want to copy the objects multiple times. So I pick here, you pick with the multiple check. So I can copy that multiple times, right? Can copy multiple times, copy the objects multiple times. So of course, you can type also the distance. So let's say 10,000, enter. There you go, and then you can select modify. Okay, what else? Rotate. Okay, rotate. So let's say you want to rotate this object. So you select rotate. Okay, so the center of rotation is here. Just like your radial array a while ago, you can change also the center of rotation. But I'm not gonna do that. Okay, so you can pick here, and then you can type now the value. So let's say 45, enter. Okay, then modify. So just select the objects that you want to rotate, select, rotate. You can pick here. All right. Then you can specify the angle that you want. Okay. Okay. How many more? So we have three tools more. So we have trim extend to corner. I have shown that to you a while ago. So let's say I'll just drag this. Okay. You can also move by dragging the object. Okay. Right. So, okay. So this is my line here. Line. Okay. I'm going to uncheck the chain here. So I can just create like this. Okay. So trim extend to corner. Just imagine this is your walls. So you want to remove this line here and then this line. So you can use this. Trim extend to corner. So you just need to select the two sides that you want to remain. One, two. Okay. As simple as that. So let's say you want to delete this and then this line here. So you just need to select the two sides that you want to remain. There you go. The other option here is trim single element. So let's say, for example, okay, you only want to delete this. You don't want to delete this. You don't want to delete this. You don't want to delete this. Of course, you will not be able to use this, right? So to be able to delete this portion here, this line, so you can use this. So select, and then you select the boundary that you want, and then select the side that you want to remain. Click, right? So let's say you want to delete this line. So select first the cutting edge or the boundary, and then select the side that you want to remain. There you go. Okay, right? So hopefully you can follow. So there you go. There you go. Okay. So let me just delete these lines here. So what if you only want to select the boundary once? You don't want to select the boundary multiple times, just like how you use this, right? Because you select the boundary multiple times. So let's say you want to delete all of these lines here, but you want to remain the lines on this side. So you can select this, you can click, and then you can click. All right, you select again, select. So basically, you need to select the boundary multiple times if you are going to use this option. The other option here, you only need to select the boundary one time. I am going to undo that, undo. All right. Okay, you see, I'm going to select this, and then you only need to select the boundary once. So you click, okay, and then you select the side that you want to delete. This one, let's say you want to delete this, so you select this one. You want to delete this, select this one. So basically, you only need to select the boundary once. Okay. All right. So basically, that's how you use these editing elements here. Okay. So we use this to modify and manipulate elements in our drawing area. Okay, so all of these are very useful in your 3D model. We just did that in our 2D model, but actually you can also do that in some of it you can only do in 2D, but most of these tools can be used in 3D model. All right. This is for those person who is just starting to use Revit. So hopefully this video has been helpful to you guys. If you have any comments, questions, or suggestions, just put it on the comment section below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. All right. Once again, this is Rich. Have a nice day, guys.